Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Alright y'all. So we're back. Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2 Episode 9, A Fair Fight. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of various TV shows, both scripted and reality. So if you enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hop into the comment section. Let's talk about tonight because I'm low-key pissed. Low-key pissed. So the episode starts off with Tariq walking into the classroom and Tate is on the board writing something on the chalkboard. And Tariq notices that no one is in the classroom but him. So he's kind of asking where everyone is. But as Tate turns around, it is literally everybody that has ever died on Power. Aside from Ghost, let me put that out there. I'm telling y'all, Ghost is alive. Ghost is alive, but y'all keep on doubting me. I don't care what Courtney said. I don't care what Michael Rainey has said. They're not going to tell the truth. Ghost is alive, y'all, because everybody else that done died on Power was in this scene. So we got Tasha, we got Kanan, we have Milgram, Jabari, like Proctor, and Ghost didn't come up. Oh, Ghost just gonna call? Yeah, okay. Dead people don't call. They show up. So everyone is there, and Lauren tries to walk into the classroom. Tariq tells her, don't come in here. Foreshadowing. I told my brother last week, I said, y'all, you know, Lauren's going to die, right? It's a matter of time. They've been foreshadowing. Her scenes have been getting kind of shorter and shorter. On top of that, y'all know Paige is on Tyler Perry's show, The Oval. She was on the first season of that. And then when Ghost started, she was no longer on The Oval. And then now it looks like she's going to be back on The Oval. So foreshadowing. But that's my claim. That's my little PSA that Ghost is still alive, because Ghost was not in the room of death. Okay. So Tariq wakes up because he hears a phone ringing, because Carrie's phone is ringing, Milgram, so we know she's for real dead. But her phone is ringing and it says Ghost on there, and she's like, it's your dad calling. So Tariq wakes up out of his dream and it's Davis calling, and Davis kind of asks him, what does Tate have on you? He's the prosecution's next witness. So Detective Tate is meeting up with his brother. They're in their office and he's asking Rashard Tate, like, what do they have on you? Why would you, you're going to be a witness, basically. So what do we call him? Councilman Tate. So Councilman Tate is saying that he doesn't know why he would even be involved in that. So just because Carrie is gone, with her untimely death, doesn't mean that he needs to, be spearheaded into the trial. So I'm trying to keep the two Tates separate because I want to say their real names. So Detective Tate gets a phone call from a number that's not listed in his phone. And his brother was like, who is that? I know you ain't cheating on your wife. And he was like, no, it's this crazy lady who initially said that she's a witness to the case and that there was initially one perp and now she's saying that there were two perps, but like her story keeps changing. So he's like, should I take the call? Should I, look into it? And Councilman Tate, because he is a sleaze, it's like, no. But we know that he has it in the back of his mind because he's going to use that later to his advantage. So we see Monet is getting, she's looking on her phone and she sees the headlines that carry Professor Milgram has indeed committed suicide. So she tries calling Zeke. It's a lot for him. He done found out that his auntie was his mama, that his father done showed up to the basketball court, and now he's 23 instead of 19. It's a lot going on with Zeke. And so for him to, on top of that, he found her dead body hanging. He don't want to talk to nobody, let alone you, Monet. So Dante comes in because Monet has apparently just went on over to Dante. So she went out on the street. She wasn't homeless. Okay. So she went over to Dante and he gets a text message from Zeke. And he was like, Zeke wants to meet me. Monet is like, cool, because he ain't answering my calls. And Dante was like, he wants to meet me. Not us. Just me. So he's like, but I'll get him to talk to you. So we see Tariq goes to class, and again, class is empty, so it's like reminiscent of the dream. And Tate is writing on the board, um, and Tate said something to Tariq, like, I forgot what he said, but it was something like, everybody around you dies, little nigga, and it's true. So Tariq is like, I'm sorry about Professor Milgram. Like, I didn't think she would kill herself. And Tate was like, no, because you don't think. That's the problem. You don't think. So Tate then tells him, look, now I'm going to take the stand tomorrow. You want me to help you? Where is the proof that you owe me? Tariq is like, I gave you the proof. And Tate is like, no, I want to see some actual proof. Give me something hard. I don't want to hear no hearsay. I need to see this actual picture that you're talking about. So Kane is still over at Mecca's house, and Kane is like, all right, I'm ready to go home. I've been here all day. Mecca tells him, no, you're going to be here all day. And Kane is like, I don't know who you talking to. And I want to be like, do you know who you talking to? You just watched him like slit Chef's neck. Why would you be talking crazy to him? So Mecca yokes him up, basically, and tells him, I need your fingerprint. So makes him put his fingerprint on the phone. Kane was scared because he thought that he was going to, like, cut some fingers off. But he tells him, I need your fingerprint on the phone. And then it's like, basically, now you're my number 2, which means you live here. Then tells him, call your daddy. Tell him that I want my fucking product back. So Kane calls Lorenzo, who is sitting in this dilapidated room because he's just so stressed out. But here's my thing. If Kane is Lorenzo's first child, if Zeke is older than him, what do you care that she got, that she had this baby back when she was in high school? Like, that's not cheating on you unless they were together in high school. But it seems like she was with Dante at the time. So I don't understand why Lorenzo is so mad. If you're mad that she lied, that's one thing. But she wasn't, like, stepping out on you, and that's where the child came from. So I don't understand that. But he's up in this bedroom that he don't rip to shreds. And when Kane tells him there's no more product, Lorenzo is pissed. So Tariq and, not Tariq, I'm sorry. So Drew and Diana come into the room, and Lorenzo was like, they were like, are you okay? Because, like, you living in, it looks a mess in here. So Lorenzo was like, I'm fine. Where are my drugs? Drew tells them that Monet has all the drugs. Monet's the one that stole the drugs because she's still working with Tariq. So everything might be up at Stansfield. And I'm like, y'all, I get that Monet has been, like, talking cash shit to y'all, but y'all be just throwing her under the bus left and right. Like, Monet, your kids don't respect you. They don't respect you at all. So Drew starts admitting to everything. He starts admitting to, like, I killed Lil Guap, so that's why we can't contact him. We took our GCG. We did all this other stuff, still working with Tariq, blah, blah, blah. And Lorenzo was like, I'm supposed to be trusting you because you're supposed to be my number 2. I can't trust you anymore. Y'all stole from me. And Drew was like, no, you can steal from me, but, you can trust me, but I needed to get my own revenge on Lil Guap. And Lorenzo was like, so you messed up my business for some revenge? I feel like Lorenzo came out of jail and expected everybody to, like, bow at his feet. That's not how it was going, homie. You've been upstate for how long? And they all have solidified their place within the family structure, the family hierarchy that they had. You're not going to just be able to come out and be on top of the heap like that. And I think that's what Lorenzo was expecting. But this ain't 82 or whatever the year was when you went in. So we see Tariq meets Tate in the bathroom before Tariq has to go to trial. And Tate is like, where's the picture? I'm about to go out on the stand. I suggest you make this work for both of us. And Tariq gives him the picture. And I'm like, damn. But I feel like, too, this just kind of shows how selfish Tariq is. I get that you're on trial and you're up against some stuff, but Braden's supposed to be your boy. That's supposed to be, your best friend who's been riding with you, but you're ready to sell his family under the bus over something that you did. You killed Jabari. But all right. So Tay gets up on the stand, and the prosecution is trying to get him to testify kind of about Carrie's promiscuity. And the judge was like, absolutely not. So she slept with a couple people. That is her freedom to do so. But what we're not going to do is besmirch her up in this court. Absolutely not. And I'm like, good. I mean, was she a hoe? Sure. But does that mean that she's an unethical person? No. Technically. But I mean, we know Carrie did some stuff that was out of the ordinary. But at the same time, Carrie has nothing to do with this case. She just doesn't. And the fact that Davis was able to use the fact that she slept around with a couple people as a means to like derail her and throw her off her game, which ultimately led to her killing herself. It's like the shit is kind of fucked up when you think about it. So, the prosecution has nothing else to add. So they're like, Tate, do you have anything? He says, yeah, I want to say I'm very proud of my brother who works in this office and worked very hard on the case. I said, Tate is such a asshole. So everybody's looking at him like, what are you talking about? So Davis gets up to cross, and Davis is like, do you and your brother talk about details? You know, do you know anything specific about the case? And he's, oh, no. He's very professional, and we don't talk about anything. But then he was like, but, I mean, I did hear that there was a witness that the DA kind of knows about that said that there are two perps, not just the one, but I guess they aren't talking about that. So Davis, yells out for a mistrial because now y'all are focusing in on Tariq when y'all know y'all have other witnesses. So they meet back in chambers, and Davis is like, this needs to be a mistrial because, like, what are we doing here if y'all aren't focusing on all of the leads that y'all have? Now, where's that white detective that was being uber annoying? I think it's weird how he was just all up in everybody's shit, and then now all of a sudden, like, we don't see him at all. But nonetheless, my neighbor's super loud. But it was like, nonetheless, so the judge tells Jennifer, who's the prosecutor, the DA, you got 48 hours. If nothing comes up, the case will be dismissed. So Mecca and Drew. So Mecca and Zeke. Mecca is telling Zeke, get ahead of the story. So they're out having beers. Get ahead of the story. You get out of school, start working with a private trainer. That way you'll be ready to go for the draft. He was like, but if you let the story come out, on its own, that's what's going to derail you, which is true. Put the shit out there. I just found out that, my aunt was my mom and she's been lying about my age and yada, yada, yada. Get ahead of it. But sitting back and trying to cover it up, that ain't the way to go. So Zeke, dumbass, is kind of like, okay, I'll see what I can do. I mean, let's be real. Ain't nobody doing their homework at Stansfield anyways. Tariq don't have time to do, let alone his homework, let alone yours to make sure that you stay eligible. So go for it. Drop out. So then we have Diana and Drew. They're sitting in the living room, and Diana tells Drew, like, she's showing him on the map of Stansfield where the product more than likely is, because she remembers that, Tariq took her up there that one day. So Drew tells Diana that most of the problems in the family happen because she can't keep her mouth shut, and because she's always in everybody else's business, and then on top of that, telling everybody else's business. And she was like, I told the truth. And it's like, Diana, yeah, you told the truth, girl, but the way that you did this wasn't the right way to handle it. Because one, you really don't have any proof that Monet was sleeping with Dante. And two, you were only mad about the whole Zeke thing because your mama wouldn't let you go to school at Stansfield. So, like, it's not like you did this because you really wanted the betterment of Zeke, or you feel that Zeke should know who his mother is. You did the shit to be shady, Diana. You did it to be shady. So, but she tells him that she can get the key card from Tariq's phone, and then tells him, can you get the ID from Everett? And so Diana just doesn't understand why everybody is mad at her, and Drew told her, you should have kept your mouth shut. which I agree. Blackmail Monet. Blackmailer. So then we have Monet, Everett, and Mecca. So they're sitting down in, I guess this is Mecca's, now he's Dante now. So this is Dante's house, and Monet is telling him what happened. She said that she was dating Dante. Her mother didn't want her to get involved with him. They figured that he would be up to no good. She was 16. She got pregnant. Okay? After she got pregnant, she was forced to tell her mother what happened. But at that time, I think Dante had went upstate he got arrested for, I believe, drugs. So her mother sent her down south to have the baby. Down south, her sister always wanted a boy. They knew that that would be the best thing for Zeke. When they found out that he was good at basketball, and he was going to go to school in New York so that he could try to get into the draft, she was just happy that she was around him. You know what I mean? So in her eyes, like, I'm just happy to be around you, happy that, I can see you in the flesh and be close to you and all that other kind of stuff. So Zeke is like, so you gave me away for your own benefit. And she was like, no, it was for your betterment, basically. So Mecca's like, no, you can trust Monet. You can trust your mom. So Zeke was like, I'm going to ask you one time, did you have anything to do with Carrie's death? Monet lies and was like, no, when I left my house, I came straight here. Now, Dante is looking at her like, yeah, she was here, because now Dante is realizing that she probably did have something to do with it, which I said too. Monet probably strangled her ass and then tried to hook her up or something. Or she made Carrie, held her at gunpoint and made her hang herself. One of the two. So Zeke is looking and he was like, because Zeke don't believe her. So Monet is like, you can trust me. Trust me, you can trust me, you can trust me. And Zeke is like, okay, so once I get drafted, I'm gone. And then I don't have to worry about trusting you or Dante, and y'all can be gone from my life, and y'all can, disappear and forget about me the way y'all did before. And I said, Zeke is hurt. Zeke is hurt, and I want them to realize that he's not just going to get over something like this. I still don't understand how you lied about his age when he, a 4-year difference, but why would he trust you? Out of all of this, why would he trust you? So we have a scene where Drew is messing around with Everett. Now we know that Drew needs to get the key, the ID, so that he can get into the school building. So while they're, doing the do, Everett notices that Drew's hand doesn't have the tremor anymore. He's like, you're completely healed. Now you can draw me the tattoo. And Drew awkwardly was like, I don't draw anymore. And then gets up and goes, so he has to go to the restroom. In the bathroom, he sees Everett's jeans, and he's able to get the ID out. So part 1 is in motion. So we see Braden is at home with the Westons. They got their lawyer, and the DA is there. And she plays the recording from Lauren's wire, where Lauren is talking to Braden and Kane in their dorm room. And the lawyer was like, the DA is like, so are we still going to act like we don't know who Kane is? Braden was like, no, this is my first time ever meeting him. So then Trace, who I knew was going to end up turning on his brother sooner or later, was like, he's lying. Kane is the guy that sells drugs with Tariq. He's also the guy that kidnapped us and held us at gunpoint while making us sell drugs on the corner. So their father was like, what the what is going on? So Braden is yelling for Trace to shut up, what are you doing? You're lying. So then Trace is like, yeah, so Officer Ramirez pulled us over, and, Tariq was basically bragging about how he has him in the pocket, and he was like, but he was butting his nose in our business, so maybe that's why Tariq killed him. I said, Trace, all of this got in motion because you stole their drugs initially, right? So Braden is pissed, and he was still like, I don't know anything he's talking about. I think he's a lying cokehead that's trying to deflect, trying to make a moment right now. And the DA was like, okay, well, here are the pictures from the dash cam from that night. Their father is over it. So then they're like, one of you needs to testify. Brady said, I'm not getting my ass up on that stand. Trace was like, I will happily testify. So their lawyer was like, they'll testify, whichever one, but that gives both of them immunity. And the DA agrees. So then Braden gets back to the dorm room with Tariq, and Braden asks Tariq about how's the trial going. And he's like, good, the lawyer's working into some things. Everything's looking good, though. So Braden is like, so Tate helped you after all? And Tariq was like, yeah. So Braden realizes you gave him the picture. You didn't give a fuck about me and my family. You're more concerned about you. And Tariq is on some, this is life or death for me. Your family will be fine. And I'm like, that's selfish, Tariq, because Braden has been your man through and through. Back when y'all was at Choate. So for you to really, why couldn't you cut the picture in half? Why couldn't you take a picture of the picture and crop out his dad? The fact that Tariq really was on some, you'll be fine, don't worry about that, I'm really out for self. I was like, that's wild. That's wild. So Braden is mad. He was like, that's bullshit, because you're willing to throw my family under the bus, just to save yourself. And it's like, it's every man for himself at this point. So we have Diana. She shows up to Tariq's dorm room, and he was like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm on my way to meet my lawyer. She asked him, can you be late? No, I'm on my way to meet my lawyer. I'm in the middle of a trial right here. But nonetheless, he lets her come in. She puts on the crocodile tears, and she was like, everybody's mad at me because I found out that my mom is cheating on my dad. Tariq was like, oh yeah, my dad cheating on my mom. You get past it. He's irritated. I didn't like Angela at first, but we just had to deal with it. And then she was like, yeah, and I just found out that Zeke is really Monet's son, and that's who she's cheating on my dad with now, and this whole thing. And Tariq was like, what the fuck is going on here? So she asked him for some water. He was like, we don't have any, but I can go grab you some. He puts his phone on the dresser. She takes out a video of him in her phone, uses the Face ID to open it, is able to get the QR code right away. I guess he just had the QR code just sitting open there because she didn't have to look through no files or nothing. It was just there. As soon as he opened the phone, QR code. So when she comes back, he's just like, if you need anything, let me know, but I really have to go. So then we see Drew and Diana. Now we got both parts that we need. They go up, and they were able to find a little camera. They do the QR code, and everything opens up. So Drew is just playing all the sides. You're stealing from here. You're stealing from there. You're crossing this person. You're killing that person. Drew is really the head of the family. So then we have Zeke and his agent doing a press conference. Zeke wants to announce that he's leaving school. He's going to train privately. And the reporters are like, is it because you have some promises from a team? In the draft, Zeke was like, can't even talk about it. But then while this is happening, conveniently, everybody's phone starts going off. And I love when they do that on TV. Because right at that moment is when the news is going to break. So a story comes out that Zeke has been lying about his age, and he's really 23. And they're all hurling questions at him, and he's just sitting there just looking silly. And his agent tells him, if this is true, you can forget about the NBA. And I'm like, damn, Zeke, why didn't you get ahead of it? So Tariq and Lauren, she is walking through campus. He walks up to her, or they meet up, and she tells him, Milgram's suicide was not your fault. She did this to herself. And Tariq is kind of mad and was like, I know. And he was kind of, being short with her because he feels like Lauren did this to snitch on him. And she was like, well, look, she told me to wear the wire. I was trying to catch Braden. And he was like, what? She was like, yeah, Milgram lied to me and told me that Braden was the suspect. So that's why I had it on when I talked to Braden and Lorenzo. And Tariq is like, fuck. How does Lorenzo look? We know that Lorenzo is, Kane. Lorenzo Jr. is Kane. So he basically tells her, you got to get the fuck out of town now. Pack a bag, grab some things, and then you need to skedaddle. You need to go ahead and get on far away. So she's kind of lackadaisical, and I'm like, girl, go. Vamonos, like, you got to go on, thug, and gone. So then we have Zeke, Monet, and Dante. They're out at the basketball court. Zeke is shooting the ball around. And Dante tells him, I can fix this with some PR. And Zeke was like, it don't work that way. You can't fix everything. And this is one thing that you can't fix. You can't demand your way into the NBA. So while they're outside standing around talking, they start getting shot at. And Monet is like, are you being followed, to Dante? And he was like, no. Shit, are you being followed by Lorenzo? So Zeke is still looking like, Lord have mercy. I should have stayed down south. Should have stayed down south and went to a nice HBCU down in the south where he could have gotten in the league that way and not been up here with the Tejadas and their shenanigans. So then we have Tariq and Effie. So they're sitting in the room, and Tariq is like, Yaz does deserve a fresh start to be away from him because, everybody around him dies and he keeps messing up stuff. So Effie is kind of like, I don't understand suicide. I'm trying to stay alive. And here she go, ready to kill herself. So then Tariq is like, man, all Lauren wanted was straight A's and a nice boyfriend. He was like, she's just like my mom, getting, mixed in with the wrong guy. So Effie gets mad and was like, she's a snitch. And I'm saying, Effie, it's so crazy how, because we all know that this is jealousy, because all these little heifers want to be with Tariq. Effie has always been jealous of the fact that Tariq likes Lauren. So you're calling her a snitch, even though, yeah, technically she wore the wire, but she was not wearing it to purposely snitch on Tariq. Unlike you, Effie, who purposely told on Tariq when y'all were in high school and got him kicked out of school for selling drugs. So Tariq gets mad and was like, you don't know what happened. That's not, it wasn't her MO. And Effie is like, she's the reason you're on trial for murder. And Tariq tells her, you don't know the whole story. And it's true, like, Effie, you don't know the whole story because you don't want to know the whole story. You just don't want to like Lauren, and it's more than likely because you're jealous of her. And you're jealous of Lauren's life. That's basically what it is. Not to say that Effie's not smart, not to say that Effie's not pretty, but Lauren don't have to get it out the mud like Effie does. And I think, and on top of that, it's jealousy. It's just jealousy. You're jealous of the fact that Tariq likes Lauren. Even though you're with him now, clearly y'all are together now, you were still threatened by just the thought of Lauren. So Effie goes up and meets with Kane and tells Kane that Tariq's girlfriend got y'all on camera. Got y'all on wire. You and Brayden, and Tariq is letting it ride. I said, this heifer. And that's why I said I knew Lauren was going to die. Anybody that gets too close to Tariq, and the fact that you wore that wire, knew she was going to die. So Brayden meets up with Kane, and Kane tells him Lauren was wearing a wire. You need to handle it before I handle you. And Brayden is like, oh yeah, no, I don't do that, no. And Kane is like, I gave you a gun, use it. I said, Lord have mercy. So then we see Tate give the Democratic guy, what is he? He's from the Democratic Party, from the Democratic Convention, but we see him give the picture, to give him the picture of Sweeney wearing blackface, and it just so happens to have Brayden's dad in it. So Brayden meets up with Jennifer. Well, actually, Jennifer approaches Brayden and kind of tells him, look, we know that Kane was there. If you give us the information on Kane, then you and Trace will both be safe. But we all know what's going to happen if Kane gets up there and testifies. If Trace gets up there and testifies against Kane, your brother is good as gaunt. So, Brayden is just, Brayden, you chose this. You could have kept your little ass just going to school and being a little rich white kid that you were. But you wanted to live a life of crime and drugs. Now look at you. So Tariq meets with an estate guy, Elvin, from The Cosby Show. And they go see where Yaz lives. And it must be her birthday. So you can see her adoptive parents are celebrating and trying to, plan a little party for her. And she just looks sad. So Tariq, jumps out the car and starts to, walk to the house. And he just kind of realizes that she's best where she is. She's best where she is. So as Tariq gets back in the car, Yas finally looks up out the window and she sees the car, but she never sees him. So Monet and Dante, Monet tells Dante, I think that Lorenzo leaked everything. Dante said, look, the three of us can get together. We can go anywhere we want to in the world, and we can start a new life together. Because NBA is off the table. So Zeke is going, like, he has nothing better to do. We can all go and live as family. And I'm like, it's crazy how Dante thinks that this grown-ass 23-year-old wants to sit up under him and live with him. Zeke can still have a normal life. You don't have to go on the lam like the rest of y'all. So Brayden is meeting up with Effie, and he asks her, have you ever had to do something you don't want to? She's like, all the time, because she knows that he needs to kill Lauren, right? She probably knows that Kane told her to. And I'm starting to wonder if Kane and Effie, like, know each other. Because, like, why was she, I don't know, something about how familiar they were with each other, something about that is making me feel like they know each other, or they've worked with each other, or something like that. Something is, I can't explain it, but something is a little off with the two of them. But basically, Effie tells him, you made the choice to be in this life. You made the choice back in high school to do this. You made the choice now to be in this life. So handle that shit like a grown-ass man. And I said, damn, Effie, you really, like, you want Lauren dead that bad. You want Lauren dead that bad. You don't trust that Tariq would just stop messing with her. So, Mecca and Kane. So, Mecca comes back home. Kane is like, I need to go home. And Mecca tells him, I'm going to be at the country for a little while. You know, you're still going to stay here because you're number 2. Mecca goes back in his room, sees that his bag is gone, pulls a gun out on Tariq. Tariq is like, I don't have your stuff. Mecca tells him, I know you stole my drugs, but this is completely different. So he turns on the tracker on his bag. He's able to see that the bag is at Stansfield. He knows that Tariq has it. So he tells him that he's locked in the house because now he can't leave. Kane calls Monet, and it's like, basically, I'm about to die. We done crossed him. He knows that I stole from him. And Monet is like, why would he leave you in the house with a phone? Send me a picture of him. So Monet is waiting for Kane to send the picture. Kane calls Tariq and tells him, you got to get that bag up out of here because he knows that you have it. So Tariq starts looking through the bag, and he sees, like, passports for all of them, and he sees some state of, like, from the U.S. Attorney's Office, some paperwork, and he takes a picture of it. So then Tariq calls Brayden, that's like, I need you to get Lauren out of town. And Brayden is like, I got you. He's already outside Lauren's house because he's getting ready to kill her. So Davis tells Tariq, how the hell did you get messed up with Dante? He's one of the biggest informants on records. He's extremely well protected. But let me tell you who he, helped get put away. So when he gets in his room, Mecca's there. Okay, Dante is there. And he was like, where's my bag? Tariq, little smart ass, is like, not here. So Dante was like, I know all about your family. I know about your Uncle Tommy and your dad Ghost. And Tariq was like, well, go on and snitch. Go on and tell. Because that's what you do, right? You're a snitch. And Tariq started listing, like, the people he snitched on. And Dante gets mad and puts the gun out on him and was like, what do you want to stay quiet? Tariq tells him, I need $2 million because he needs to pay Davis. So Dante is like, you know what? Fine. I'll open a little petty-ass account. You'll get access to it when I get my bag back. So then he tells him, I snitched on Lobos. And before Lobos could kill me, somebody killed him. So thank your dad for that. I was like, So Brayden and Lauren, Brayden is driving, Lauren is asleep in the car. And again, I feel like, Lauren just makes bad mistakes. Because why wouldn't you tell your parents? Why would you just disappear without telling your parents what's going on? Or, even going and trying to get into protective custody. So she gets in the car with Brayden. She's asleep. Brayden turns down a dark road. And he tells her, I need to pull over. And she was like, here? Like, middle of nowhere. Lauren is shook. Lauren is scared. She knows what's going on. The wheels are starting to turn because, she told Tariq that she was, really trying to get Braden on the tape. So Braden pulls out a gun on her, and she starts crying like, did Tariq do this? And he was like, no, this has nothing to do with Tariq. But then he throws her a bag of money and was like, get the hell away from here. There's a bus up there. Get on the bus, go south. Stay off the grid. No credit cards, no phone calls, no nothing. Don't even call your parents. Just go. All of a sudden, we hear a car comes up. It's Effie's yamp ass. Effie gets out with the gun because she knew that Braden wasn't going to kill her. So even though Effie is probably trying to protect, Kane and Braden and Tariq, it's more about her wanting Lauren out of the picture. So she's telling Lauren, get in the car. Lauren knows that she got a couple more minutes left on Earth. So Lauren is like, no. Effie punches her, knocks her out, and then gets her in the car. This is what gets me about Effie. So then after killing her, Effie goes back to Stansfield and gets in bed with Tariq, like, you didn't just kill his girlfriend. After he told you she wasn't really snitching on him just to be a snitch, she got caught up in some shit and you didn't know the whole story. Effie forgot that she was a snitch. I'm just mystified at that. Effie completely forgot that she has been purposely snitched on Tariq and messed up his entire drug game back then. But all right. So then we have Dante, and he's coming home to yell at Kane. Monet is there. So Monet was like, oh, so you're Mecca? Great. I like it. Yeah. So Kane figures out that they know each other, and he's been playing him all along. Monet was like, yeah, he's been playing us so that we need him. We can't, do anything without him. But Monet tells him, look, Lorenzo stole your shit. I didn't do it. Lorenzo did all that. And basically tells him, so there's only one thing we need to do. One, you need to kill Lorenzo, and then me, my 3 kids, and then Zeke, we're all going to go with you and we're all going to leave. But we can't have any loose ends. So he looks at Kane and was like, you're okay with killing your dad? And Kane is like, yeah, my relationship with Lorenzo is complicated. And so, wow. I am so mad at Effie. It was so unnecessary to kill Lauren. You done sent her back to the throes of Tyler Perry now. Because Paige is going to end up back on the Oval. Now you done took her from Stars back to BET. Don't get her sucked up in the Tyler Perry world. But no, this was a really good episode. But I feel like Tariq is going to find out that Effie killed Lauren. How do you think your relationship is going to fare then? So I used to think that Tariq was going to end up with Lauren and still have his life of crime on the side. But now I think he's going to end up with Diana, and Effie, you're still going to be on the out, sweetheart. So you probably just killed that girl for no reason. But how about in the comment section? Let's talk about this episode. Catch y'all in the next one.